Welcome to Dove Center's 5th annual meeting. My name is Ruth Weniger, and I have the honor of serving as president of the Dove Board of Directors. Things are a little different these days. We can't gather as usual, but our commitment to keeping our community informed will never change. We have some folks we're wanting to recognize for being special supporters of Dove Center too. So although this may be a virtual meeting, it may not be our usual event. We're committed to keeping you up to date on all things Dove. We'll do our best in this new format. We're all still learning. And we would love to hear from you after the event, to hear how you think we did. For anyone new to Dove or to the St. George area, Dove Center is the local community-based victim services agency providing safe shelter and crisis intervention to primary and secondary survivors of domestic abuse, dating violence, rape, sexual assault, sex trafficking, and stalking. We work to empower those impacted by domestic abuse and sexual violence. In the United States, 1 in 4 women will experience domestic violence in her lifetime. In Utah, that number is 1 in 3. But domestic violence doesn't just target women. 1 in 7 men nationally and 1 in 4 locally have been victims of intimate partner violence. Washington and Kane counties have low crime rates, and the perception is that this is generally a safe place to live. However, domestic violence is a private violence, a crime that happens behind closed doors. We may hope that private violence doesn't affect our children, but it does. And often, without intervention, they become the next generation of abusers and victims. As our community continues to grow so rapidly, the issue of family violence can also be expected to rise with the increasing population. We need to work together as a community to get ahead of this issue by spreading awareness, speaking up, and taking part in actively shifting our culture. We cannot tolerate private violence, and we must confront it and find a better way. Won't you join us in working to break the silence that exists so that we can support survivors, hold abusers accountable, and break the chains of generational violence that exist in our community? Thank you for being with us today. Here's more to help you learn about domestic violence as it affects families in our community.
When there's violence in the home, a lot of adults that are experiencing it interpret the conflict as, oh, this is just something that's between myself and the other adult in the home. And if the children aren't there in the midst of it, they think that they are shielding the children or the youth and that maybe they aren't aware of what's going on. And unfortunately, the kids in the home are hyper aware of what's going on.
It's really hard for me to remember an age where it clicked in my head that what my family was experiencing was domestic abuse. I know I was introduced to domestic abuse as an infant, and it kind of happened throughout my childhood.
Not being able to protect that parent and to watch them be hurt, year after year sometimes, and see the damage and the fear that causes can really do a lot to an individual.
And I remember thinking at that age that I didn't understand why somebody would want to hurt my mom. I think that's when it clicked in my head that something was wrong in my family, but I didn't have a name for it. I watched my mom be in these abusive relationships, so I had this learned behavior that that's what I was going to go through too, and that's what I deserved. So it took me a long time to realize that no, I deserve a happy and safe and healthy relationship. Learning about that, it helped me realize that I can change, I can break that cycle, and I don't have to continue that into my future life with my husband and when we have kids down the road. You can break that cycle.
The reality is that without somewhere to turn, survivors don't have a chance at seeking safety in a lot of situations or have a place to heal and to address the trauma that can be very disabling and inhibiting to a lot of people in just their everyday functioning. And this is a place where people can come and feel heard and seen and have confidential services provided to them at no cost. And that is an enormous game changer for the lives of many people who are suffering in silence, who are secretly and silently walking through life with these issues and these haunting memories and the things that really get in the way of living a fulfilling life. And it's not always a fun topic to talk about, but if we have to talk about it or else it won't change. At Dove Center, we're able to provide a myriad of services, anywhere from safe shelter, transitional housing, and sometimes even some housing assistance. We also provide advocacy in a variety of places, whether that be at the hospital, at the courthouse, on campus at DSU. We also extend out to our neighboring communities to serve underserved populations and work with our partners to be innovative and available to bridging the gaps for survivors, because there really are a numerous amount of barriers that get in the way for many who need that help and that need that support. During the year, we served more than 1,200 members of our community, providing 1,973 helpline calls with support and information. Shelter and transitional housing provided safety for 246 survivors, including adults and children. Our counseling team helped more than 330 survivors of all ages, and our rape recovery program supported 155 sexual assault survivors. With the help of our dedicated staff, we were also successful at remaining accessible through the onset of the coronavirus pandemic last spring. The last 3.5 months of the year, we offered an adapted virtual advocacy and counseling support model and provided 1,125 hours of virtual advocacy and counseling. One silver lining we can pull away from this pandemic is it's forced us to learn how to use technology so that we can remove even more barriers for survivors when they are not able to access services in person. Whether it be childcare, transportation barriers, through the use of technology and virtual platforms, we're now able to reach more and more survivors are able to access us. Last year, some of you may remember, we talked about our girls group that was a new and developing program providing self-esteem support, life skills, and relationship skills to teenage and adolescent girls in our intermediate and middle schools. We were in 2 at the time. Last winter, we were able to add 2 additional schools before everything shut down in the spring. And we've resumed all 4 of those groups this year and are working on our 5th right now. This is a program that's incredibly exciting, and it's a game-changing opportunity for disrupting those generational cycles from having potential to repeat, as we're providing education earlier in a developmental stage when our youth are so impressionable. This group has also been credited for impacting the attendance rates and grades of the students who attend, because they are motivated to be able to access this group, and they're gaining friendships, they're learning new things, they're feeling better about themselves just through this simple process. And they're seeing themselves differently when they come out on the other end. Some of you may also remember last year we talked about our transitional housing expansion plan to increase units available at our Aaron's House location. We've successfully secured a CDBG grant to develop that project this year. This will allow us to provide 5 transitional units for families in this facility at Aaron's House and preserve 2 offices where families can still access counseling and their advocacy support on site. We were also fortunate last year to have a donor come forward and provide us a private apartment unit in the community that makes for an additional transitional housing unit as well. So by the end of this fiscal year, we will have gone from 3 to 6 units. That's incredible. The rates that we're experiencing of success as people are exiting transitional housing is twice that of what we can offer with shelter services. More people are able to find housing, they're able to get their feet under them. The extension of time and support with a roof over their head gives them that chance to put things together. A short stay in shelter, while it helps increase safety and stability, it's not long-term. And this is a critical next step for the progression of someone's journey into independence and self-sufficiency. And as many of you may know, I could go on and on about this topic for hours, but we have a lot to get to still. The last 4 years we've been providing this annual event, we have taken this as an opportunity to recognize the support and the exceptional efforts of some of our supporters in the community.
We are going to start out with honoring our Volunteer of the Year award.
Thank you, Brenda. The volunteers at the Dove Center are gold. We could not run our organization without them. And today we are honoring Donna McBean. I'm so honored and pleased to present Donna McBean with our 2020 Volunteer Service Award of the Year. Thank you, Donna, for all that you've done.
I can't tell you how much I'm honored to receive this. When we're talking about volunteers, I get this award, but I'm not alone in getting this award. I couldn't do any of this without volunteers.
The Community Partner Award is so important to our organization because we could not do the work that we do without referring clients to community resources that specialize in services outside of the scope that we practice. And while we serve trauma survivors, the need to connect to community partners is so vital for their ongoing needs.
Yes, Brenda, that's right. 16 years ago, when I first started, we had no community partner for healthcare needs for our clients. And it's so important for the young children and for the mothers and the clients to be able to access affordable healthcare.
On behalf of Dove Center, Lori, it's such an honor to be able to present this award to you and your team at Family Healthcare. I've been working with you guys for 7 years, and it's just been an honor to watch as we've been able to send clients your way, and they've been treated with the utmost respect. And we are so honored to acknowledge you and your team for the service that you've provided our community and our clients.
Thank you so much. When I accept this award for Family Healthcare, I love Dove Center. I love your mission. I love the women that you serve. So honored that we can make it easy for them to get the care that they deserve, and so honored to have partners like you that care about them and that we can partner with you. It makes my job really easy. So thank you.
Thank you, Lori.
Dove Center honors those who make significant contributions with their time, actions, talents, and dedication. It's our Community Service Award. The honoree this year has served as a role model for compassion and service, striving to make a difference by supporting Dove's efforts in different capacities throughout the years. It is my sincere pleasure and an honor to present the Community Service Award to a woman we all admire, who has gone above and beyond. My friend, the very deserving Sharon Haquan.
Thank you so much for this recognition. That's the first thing I want to say. But the second thing I want to say is it almost feels strange because it was such a rewarding experience for me. I'm not sure it deserves this kind of recognition. I was delighted to join the board 6 years ago, and I have to say it really was, I think, a rewarding experience for the past 6 years. I just hope that any future board members can enjoy it as much as I did and see the vast change and improvement in the lives of women that the Dove Center offers for St. George.
A huge thanks to Sharon and Donna and the Family Healthcare Clinic. You all have been incredible supporters, and we appreciate your dedication to this mission and to supporting this organization and survivors. So we're going to take a few minutes to do a little Q&A, and I'd like to welcome Princess, our fundraising and grants manager, to the conversation.
Hi, Lindsay. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, thanks for joining me. So it looks like we have a few questions provided by some
by the audience,
inquiring minds.
So thank you for providing those questions. I think the first one is to you, and they want to know what kind of need there is among minority groups in the community.
One thing that people may not understand is there are exponential barriers for some of these underserved populations where either services may be limited in more remote, isolated communities, where there might be so much privacy within a subpopulation where everyone knows everyone and everything, that these issues can be really embarrassing and can feel shameful. So a lot of people just remain in silence and don't get the help that they need.
All right, and Lindsay, I think I see a second question, and I believe it is what organizations does Dove work with and how, and you did talk about it a little bit, but can you expand on it?
Sure. So Dove Center partners with a variety of different organizations and businesses and coalitions in the community. We also partner with a lot of other first responder agencies and service provider organizations who provide services that Dove Center doesn't. So we have a third question. Looks like folks are wondering how they can support Dove.
Well, there are so many different ways that anyone can support Dove, and I would say the major ones would be to support our fundraisers, make donations. There's in-kind monetary, even of time, and partnerships like you mentioned. Also, just share our efforts. We have our efforts, on social media of sharing awareness and attend our events. So one big event that we're going to have is our gala in March 2021, March 25th, and it'll be virtual. So you will see us on the screen, but we would love to have you come to that. And I think that's one of the most important things you can do.
Looks like we have time for one more question. Can I, my family, or my company volunteer?
The first thing you can do is get on our website and submit the inquiry to volunteer, and it could be you, and your family, it could be you and friends, you and your company. So that helps us figure out where we can best use your talent and your skills.
And we love service groups, so let us know if you guys have skills with landscaping, and we've got a lot of ongoing maintenance work with our facilities, both shelter and our Aaron's House facility, so we appreciate all those helping hands.
All right, and thank you everyone for those wonderful questions, and thank you, Lindsay, for having me.
Thank you, Princess, and thanks to all of you for your ongoing support and for those awesome questions that help us spread awareness and educate our community. And now we're going to turn the time back over to our board president, Ruth Weniger.
We are grateful for the incredible support Dove Center receives from the Southern Utah community. Thank you for your donations of time, talent, and treasure that allow us to not only offer a lifeline to survivors, but also to educate our community. With your help, we will empower those impacted by domestic violence, and we will continue to make a difference in our community. If you have questions or would like to reach out to us for more information, please drop us an email at info@dovecenter.org. We look forward to hearing from you. Thank you for joining us today. Please stay safe.